You're ambitious and you've been into self-improvement for a long time, but no matter how much you optimize your life, your stress levels stay high. And you're tired of constantly forcing yourself through the day and only just skirting by burnout. In this video, you'll see that the reason you're experiencing this is not about what you're doing, it's about trying to fix the problem at the wrong end. I'll illustrate this with two examples from my own life that seem completely unrelated on the surface, one from my startup and the other from my love life. But actually, both of them are the exact same problem. And it's a mistake you're making right now as well. And then I'll explain exactly how you can fix this problem in a way that finally frees up more energy and time in your life. So let's get into it. Story number one. It's 2018, I'm working on my startup, and we have grown rapidly from a team size of 3 people to over 50 people. And yet, no matter how many people we hire, it seems that I never have less work. If anything, it's more work for every added team member. The pressure keeps rising, the stress keeps getting worse. And I am looking for solutions. I'm thinking, well, do I need to hire different people? Do I need to hire even more people? Do I need a better project management or team management system? What is going on? But it turns out that none of these things would make any difference. Because what was really going on is that I had a deeply seated belief that what made me successful was working harder than anyone else. Because of that, handing work off to someone else, actually delegating, felt dangerous. The simple logic in my mind said, if you work less, you will fail. And so, of course, I became the bottleneck in my own business. And this didn't change with any systems or tactics. It only changed once I changed my mind. Specifically, I had to realize that, hey, you're no longer the solopreneur who's working away in his closet trying to make ends meet. And by the way, I really did work out of a bedroom closet that I'd converted into a mini office for a few months. So I had to realize I'm not that guy anymore, and I had to upgrade my story of what it means to be successful. It's no longer about me just grinding every day trying to prove my worth. In fact, a higher level of success is if I'm able to build a business that doesn't need me. Once I believed that, I was actually able to fully retire myself from my own business in the span of about 2 years. Story number 2. I find myself in a relationship, not for the first time, where I have this problem. I'm with a person I love and care about, and yet being together feels draining. I want to be in this relationship, but I'm also exhausted, and part of me is always trying to escape, get some alone time so I can finally recharge. And at the same time, I'm feeling us drifting apart. What's going on? Again, I'm looking for solutions. Is there some relationship book I should read? Do we need to spend more quality time together? Or am I just with the wrong person? Now, this seems like a totally different example from the business story from before, right? But no. This is the exact same problem, because I'm looking for solutions in the wrong place. It turned out that I had a deeply seated belief that I am unworthy of love. And therefore, anyone who's in a relationship with me is basically making a mistake. They're probably about to find out that they're making a mistake. In fact, they're probably already really disappointed with me, and I'm desperately trying to make up. I'm desperately trying to be good enough, and that is just exhausting. And at the same time, I don't really believe that I can ever be good enough. I'm expecting them to leave any moment, and that's why I'm already preparing myself for the worst and distancing myself. Until I changed that story, until I could actually believe that I am worthy of love and that someone actually might want to be in a relationship with me, even if they truly know me, no change in my behavior, nothing I could do in the relationship would make a difference. And once I did change my mind, it immediately became easy to be in a relationship and to actually enjoy being in a relationship in a relaxed and calm way. So what these stories have in common is that there is a problem and we're trying to fix that problem at the wrong end. And here's how this happens. The thing that we experience as a problem is an outcome. We're not getting the outcome or the results that we want. And then we immediately look for solutions at the behavior level. We go, what do I do differently to fix this? The problem is that our behavior is downstream from our thoughts and emotions, and those are downstream from our worldview and identity. And if the problem is at the worldview or identity level, then no amount of flailing about on the behavioral level is going to make a difference. Now, I've got good news and bad news, and as is tradition, I'll start with the bad news. The further upstream that we go in this chain of causality, the closer we get to the actual source of the problem, the more we're also moving into the unconscious. Your worldview and identity don't feel like a filter through which you view the world or a bunch of stories you tell yourself about yourself. They feel like, this is me and this is reality. This is why it can be really useful to have a good coach or a good therapist or even a good friend who is that one step removed from us, who can more clearly see what's really going on. But the good news is you can also find out by yourself. So it is possible to uncover the true source of your problems and stop trying to fix them at the wrong end. And the key to this lies in what is most conscious. So the outcomes are the things that are most obvious to us. Those are the results we're getting that we can clearly see and experience. And this is actually especially clear when we're not getting what we want. That causes frustration, pain, disappointment. That is the tension of the problems that you're experiencing. And exactly that is where we can start our work. Because luckily, your problems themselves contain the breadcrumbs that lead back to their own solutions. So here's the exercise you can do to follow those breadcrumbs. And fair warning, if you're a rational-minded, self-optimizer kind of a person, this will seem quite counterintuitive to you. But try it out and see what happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to use fear as a signal. So take a problem in your life where you're feeling this pain, this frustration, and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What does my fear have to say about this? I recommend that you do this in writing. Start writing and let your fears fully express themselves without holding back, without self-censoring. This is something we rarely do, right? We usually keep the lid on this. We don't really want to go there. But here's a moment for your fears to just fully express themselves. In the relationship example I gave, what did my fears have to say in this situation? My fears were things like, I'm afraid that I'm just not good enough. I'm afraid that I am not worthy of being loved and this person I'm with is about to find out. I'm afraid that if this person I'm with sees what I'm really like and sees who I really am, she will run away screaming. And I'm afraid that no matter how hard I try to be good enough, to improve myself and to do my best in this relationship, it will still just not be good enough. I'm afraid that I'm somehow fundamentally broken. And I'm afraid of experiencing this pain of another breakup. So you let your fears express themselves on the page in this way, and you keep writing until there's nothing new you can think of to write. When that happens, write the following question and wait. Is there more? And then pause and see if there's more that wants to express itself. If there is, again, keep writing until you run out of things to write, and again ask, is there more? And you keep doing this until you write, is there more, and nothing new comes out. At that point, your fear has completely expressed itself. The next step is to ask, what does love have to say about this? So here, we're not asking your thinking mind for new strategies or better tactics to try out. I know that you've already done that. If the problem you're facing was a matter of better tactics, you would have solved it a long time ago. So this is why we're tuning into love. Just as before, you're tuning into fear and letting your fear express itself. Tune into a place of love, and it might help to literally feel into the physical space of your heart and ask, what does love have to say about this? Or a slight variant of that question is, what would love say? And then again, write whatever comes out without self-censorship, without stopping, until you run out of things to write, and then, you guessed it, you go, is there more? And you keep doing that until there's nothing new that wants to come out. Once you get to the end of this exercise, your perspective on your problem will be completely different. This exercise itself can undo some emotional blockages that might have been holding you back, and you might have made progress just by doing this exercise. And very likely the next step or the real solution will be completely obvious at this point. That is the exercise you can try out to find the actual source of the problems that seem to be too stubborn for you to solve, and to solve them in a way that actually frees up time and energy and makes you feel amazing. Now, I've got two more things for you. The first is I'll link to an article where I explain this exercise as well. So if you want a written reference that walks you through, check out that link that goes to my Substack. And second, if you want more of this unconventional advice that can actually make a real difference in your life and free up more time and energy, check out the link that goes to my newsletter. When you sign up there, I'll send you an exercise that you can implement in your day-to-day without having to add any new habits, any new tasks, without having to spend any extra time. And it's a simple tweak you can make that will free up more energy and more aliveness in your everyday life. So that will be the first link in the description. So now go ahead and try this exercise and then leave a comment letting me know what your experience with it was.